Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. What's going on, everybody? And I wanted to come in for a second and talk about something that I thought was really funny. The White House has finished its investigation into the cocaina, aka the white stuff, the sticky stuff that they found inside the White House. Apparently, there was an investigation after some Hunter Biden-esque material was found inside the White House, and I know a lot of you had the same thought that I was daddy's house. And what's crazy, here's what's crazy is what's up, Vic? So here's what happened. So basically they concluded their investigation and they basically said we have no idea where it came from. They said that after we've gone through all of the countless surveillance tapes, we've gone through all of the extensive White House security measures, after we've gone through all of the footage, audio, video, everything that we have, because we're the White House and we watch every single thing, and we also use AI in ways that you can't even imagine. We have no idea. We don't know where the cocaine came from. We don't know where that ain't ours. That ain't our stuff. I think that is really hilarious, right? In fact, how many of you believe it? Give me a yes or no if you believe the story. I'm gonna tell you, I think it's BS. Let me let me look at it. Let me read this to you. So basically, they did the investigation, and they claimed that they extensively researched to find out who might have dropped the stuff off. They said it was found in a locker where apparently a lot of the White House workers use this locker or something like that. Now, the spin had been that it was in some section of the White House that was heavily trafficked by tons of visitors, and they gave this impression that like so many people come through, thousands, millions of people come through here every single second of the day. So we have no idea whose it was. But then, what I also read was that it was like some sort of a locker. Like there was some sort of a locker that was used mainly by like people that actually work for the White House. And I'm gonna ask y'all this: give me a yes or no. Let's say that y'all do know that there are some powdery substances that can actually kill, that can kill you, that can kill. The terrorists have used, to make bombs and neurotoxins. Right, you do know these things, right? You do know that, like, anybody remember when they had a big thing where people were receiving packages with white powdery substances in the packages. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all remember that? And they were like, this because it could be some neurotoxin that could kill you on the spot. It could be cyanide, all kinds of stuff. I just think that's so fascinating that there's suddenly these bumbling buffoons that have no ability to figure out who bought this stuff into the White House. Now, we know that that's not true. We know it's a bunch of nonsense. We also know about Hunter Biden, who smoked up all the crack. I mean, this dude was if Hunter Biden were a black man, Hunter Biden would have got 100 years in prison by now. Even though his daddy 30 years ago was talking down on drug addicts, talking about drug addiction like it was some sort of moral failing by you and your family. You and your single mama didn't do your job, so you need to be put away forever and never have a life again. Y'all remember when Biden was talking like that? And so it's ironic. It is almost like a gift from God that his own family was hit and cursed with drug addiction. So he could really see what that's like, that it ain't always the parents' fault. It ain't always because the mom and daddy didn't do their job. It's because you have a society that floods the streets with narcotics, right? So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I want y'all, Vic just told me that today's his birthday, man. And I want everybody, if y'all can do this for me right quick, let's try to make Vic's day. Everybody put happy birthday, Vic, in the chat. Type happy birthday, Vic. He is 38 years young, and happy birthday to you, brother. I'm super happy for you, and I'll tell you, 38 is a good year to change your life. So what I would encourage you to do is to take that 38th birthday, man, and use that as an opportunity to elevate your game. Just say to yourself, sit down, meditate on it, think about your life up until this point, think about the life that you dream for yourself, and then say, what are 2 or 3 things I can do right now that's going to help me level up. I want this to be your level up year, man. I want you to remember this for the rest of your life, where you say, man, that one day where Dr. Boyce shouted out my birthday online, That was the day I made the decision to level up. Now, 15 years later, I have an extra $20 million in the bank. I'm on top of the world. I'm living a life I never dreamed of. So happy birthday, Vic. Everybody put happy birthday in the chat. And if anybody else ever has a birthday, feel free to say something. If I see it, I'll say something. Sometimes I might not say anything just because I got to stay focused. Because y'all know how when my ADHD kicks in, it gets kind of messy. All right. So anyway, so basically the White House, what I want to do is I want to look up White House security measures, like how hard they work on security, so we can determine whether or not it's really plausible that the White House simply forgot to check people for drugs or just somehow didn't notice that somebody was bringing cocaine inside the White House. And also, I want to remind everybody also that that my you guys know I had some trouble with my Instagram. It's okay. Can't stop, won't stop. I do have another Instagram. You can follow me at the Black Financial Channel. It's right there on the screen. So feel free to follow me. We always got backups on top of backups, so you can follow me there. That's why I'm posting about several times a day. So follow me at the Black Financial Channel. Also, if you text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to 31996. And this is important because this is an independent way for us to all stay connected. Also, I can send you investment information. Everything I send you will make your life better. Everything I send you will help you invest. It'll give you alerts on stocks, what I call profit alerts. All that's for free. Just text the word stock to 31996 and I'm gonna hook you up and take good care of you. All right. So here's what. So I looked this up, right? I did a quick Google search. What are White House security measures? So check this out. So I'm reading here, and the first thing I see, this is just me sort of randomly searching. I did not plan this. It says, why is the White House so secure? They said bulletproof glass in 3 south windows of the Oval Office and a bomb barrier concrete poured along the west wall of the executive office building were installed. Special outdoor lighting was designed by General Electric to dimly illuminate the grounds without casting a glare on the White House itself. Does the White House have security guards? The uniformed division officers assigned to the White House branch provide protection and law enforcement functions for the White House. Okay. What else? Is the White House the most protected building on earth? The White House, in which the President of the United States resides, is one of the most secure structures in the world. The first line of defense for the White House is a very robust iron fence that provides the White House with excellent perimeter protection. The White House is listed as one of the most secure places on the planet, which means that they probably are using all kinds of AI that you don't know about. Pay attention now. They don't announce all the ways that they're doing security. At least if they're being smart about it, they're not going to tell you every single thing that they're doing to spy on you, right? We know these things, right? We'll find out about these things, 70 years from now when the CIA finally releases the data. So this idea that somehow one of the most secure buildings on the planet, if not the most secure building on the planet, this idea that somehow they just sort of bumbled it and had no idea, who might possibly have brought this white powdery substance into the White House is absolutely ridiculous. It's almost a joke. And what's crazy is that the joke is going to work because a lot of Americans are just not that smart. It's going to work because a lot of people in this country don't ask hard questions. It's going to work because a lot of people just think for themselves. They just say, "Oh, okay. Oh, well, you said it's okay, then it must be okay, right?" And I don't talk to people like that. I don't know how to relate to that. I need you to be smarter and more aware. And I'm looking at this article. They said 6 known security measures for the White House. Let me see here. If you have to give a 21-day advance notice to even come to the White House. In order to be given a tour of the highest office in the land, you must submit an application at least 21 days before your scheduled visit. So you can't tell me that they don't know who was up in there, right? You have to submit something 21 days in advance. And the reason I know this is true is because Russell Simmons called me one time and told me that he had trouble getting in the White House when he and I were campaigning with the Obama administration to get them to change the incarceration policies for the Black community. We were trying to get him to just sort of shift the direction. So we stopped locking people up for 1,000 years and harming Black and brown communities with this nonsense. And at that time, the Obama administration was not happy. And Russell could not get into the White House. And he told me that he reached out to Valerie Jarrett and that Valerie basically wouldn't let him. It was him and Kimora and that guy that she married. They all hung together. Let me just say this. If my wife ever divorced me, I ain't going to be hanging out with her and her ex-husband. That ain't how I roll. But then again, though, Russell's that kind of guy. He's a nice guy, and I can see him doing that. He's all, into Zen and Buddha and everything, which actually, by the way, makes you into a better person. And he is a very good human being to work with. Anyway, I remember him telling me that they would not let him in the White House, at least according to Russell, based on our conversation. He said they won't even let me in because they're so mad about this letter that you wrote that we all signed. Because remember, on this letter, all the celebrities signed it, all the way from Justin Bieber to Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. A lot of people signed this letter that I wrote to the White House, and the Obamas were pissed. They were so livid because they were not used to black people asking for things. They weren't used to black people standing up for themselves. They weren't used to black people expecting a return on their investment in this president. And I said, look, it's nothing personal. It's nothing against you, Mr. Obama. I think that you're a great guy. I like this guy. He's so smart. But I said, man, we need you to do your job, brother. We can't have you up in here, falling for the okie doke with your little advisors telling you that you can ignore your community. You know better, and I know better, and I think Michelle knows better too. In fact, I bet Michelle probably watches this podcast. She just probably don't tell nobody. So anyway, shout out to you, Michelle Obama. I love you too. All right. So anyway, let me keep reading here. Bulletproof windows. What else do they have here? They have infrared sensors. Listen to this. Every inch of the perimeter of the White House is surrounded in infrared lasers that detect even the most minuscule threat against the White House. These aren't the lasers that you see in old spy films that challenge intruders to a deadly game of limbo. No, these blanket everything to include the sky, the surface, and even underground. Did y'all hear what I just said? Did y'all hear what I said? This is how secure the White House is. This is how deep they roll. They some gangsters. They're the biggest gangsters on earth. This is how deep these gangsters roll. So you're going to tell me that this White House that literally has security measures that we have never seen anywhere else on the planet has no idea who brought the mysterious white powdery substance into the White House that could have been a bomb. It could have been anthrax. And you have no idea who did it. Do y'all believe that? Y'all think that's... Let me tell you a story about lying that I saw. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. And by the way, don't forget, we have the All Black National Convention happening October 20th in Atlanta. We're bringing together black experts that have solutions in the black community. So if you'd like to join us, it's a great family reunion, amazing experience. Just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. If you look up my name on Spotify, you'll find me there. Last but not least, I want to make you wealthy. I want to help you make money. So if you'd like to get Dr. Boyce stock alerts or a copy of our $5 a day investing plan or a free copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, as well as my stock pick of the week, just text the word stock to 31996. Text stock to 31996. Here's a story about lying and the lies that people tell. 9 years ago, or not even 9, what is it, 2023? This was 14 years ago. This was back when I was still learning how all these politics work. Politics is dirty in the United States. I'm telling you, it's scandalous as hell. And I used to do stuff with Al Sharpton. And let me just say this. I don't agree with Al Sharpton politically, but I'll say this until the day I die. He's not a stupid man. He is one of the smartest human beings I've ever met in my life. I can understand why he was able to, deal with the mafia and all these other crazy, shady characters in New York, because he's not a dumb man. Anyway, there was a young lady, look it up. Her name was Heather Ellis. Heather Ellis was a young black woman. Some of y'all who've been rocking with me for 15 years, y'all know about Heather Ellis. Give me a yes if you happen to remember Heather Ellis. Heather Ellis was a black woman, a black college student, a daughter of a pastor who went back to her little podunk town in Arkansas. And during that time, there was an altercation at a Walmart, and the police ended up beating her up. And it was just a big mess. And then they blamed it on her. That's how the cops would roll. That's why I agreed with most of this police justice that has occurred, because the cops, dirty shit, all that. I agree. Well, anyway, we had a protest for Heather Ellis. We went to town to protest and basically say, you're about to lock this young lady up. And Sharpton, shout out to him. He did support me in that process. This is the good side of Sharpton. The politics I don't agree with, but some of the activism is relevant, necessary, and effective. Well, Walmart, we go to Walmart, check this out. And we say to Walmart, well, the police are saying that she assaulted them, but she's saying the police assaulted her. Well, one way we can resolve this is we can look at the videotape. Give me a yes if you're following my story. And you know what Walmart said? Walmart comes back and they're like,
Oh, we don't know what the videotape was. We don't know what happened with the videotape. We did a little tiny shop, but we don't have no idea. We don't know.
They did like your 5-year-old. When your 5-year-old, they got you ask them like who ate the chocolate cake, and they got chocolate icing around their lips, and they like, I don't know what happened to the chocolate cake. They literally did this bumbling idiot routine where they said, gosh, we keep all these security cameras to make sure nobody breaks into cars when they're going 24 hours a day. But we just happen to have lost the one where the police are beating the crap out of a black woman. That's the one we just happened to lose. And I was just like, how stupid do you think we are? The fact that you lost it right there tells me that you guilty. You hiding some BS. The fact that I can go get every single tape of every single incident that's happened at that Walmart, except that one, tells me that you're on some nonsense right now. And to tell you how deep the nonsense goes, this is a true story. I went on the Tom Joyner Morning Show to talk about it, and I didn't make the connection that Walmart is paying these Negroes on the radio. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about how much money gets paid to black people by corporate America and by the government. And when we went on the air, the minute I started talking about Walmart and the surveillance tapes, oh, well, Dr. Watkins, it was great to have you. We got to go. All right. And now I'm talking. I'm like, no, I got more to say. No, but yeah. We about to go right. We about to play. We about to play some old school Earth, Wind, and Fire in a minute, y'all. It's a party time, y'all. Like they're playing the music over my voice as I'm trying to finish telling the story, and I didn't get it. I'm like, but I was in mid sentence. Why are you cutting me off? I only talked 45 seconds. It was because I mentioned Walmart. Why? Well, because Walmart either was writing big checks or they had the ability to write big checks. Somebody in there, again, this is why you got to be careful about how you define black success. Somebody in there was trying to get a check from Walmart. You know how these media outlets operate. Listen to these radio stations. Every 5 minutes, this is brought to you by McDonald's. Come on to McDonald's, y'all. Black people eat McDonald's, y'all. I was at McDonald's yesterday, girl. It was amazing. I went and got my jab from Pfizer. And right after getting my Pfizer jab, I had to go get me a cheeseburger, girl. I got me a Big Mac with some fries because you know how we do. You know how we do in our community, y'all. Right? That's what they do, right? That's what they do with us. A lot of your so-called black public figures are just bought and paid for. They are black public puppets. In fact, they're not public figures, they're puppet figures. That's what they are. And at that point I was like, Lord, this is deeper than I thought it was. This is deeper than I expected. I thought it was simple. We protect young black girls. She's about to go to jail for 15 years, didn't do nothing. We stand together. We rally for her. No. And I'm going to tell you that the poor girl, she took a plea deal where they gave her a 6-month suspended sentence. And she called me and she said, Dr. Boyce, what should I do? Should I keep going? Everybody's telling me to stick it out. Everybody's telling me that I should keep fighting and that if I take a plea, I'm admitting guilt. I said, girl, it's a suspended sentence. Take the damn plea and get your black ass out of town immediately. Get out of town before them white folks get a hold of you and get you into their jail cell and you end up like Sandra Bland. You end up dead. This is before Sandra died, but you know what it is. I told her, get out of there. I said, I need you to take the plea and I want you to hit the road immediately because these people do not play. They will come up in there and they will kill you for all the attention that you brought onto that little town. And I remember walking, and in the march that we did there were people standing on the side with swastikas and white nationalists. I mean, you're talking about the most ignorant of the ignorant. I'm not scared of Southern white people, by the way. Some Southern white people, some of them are the nicest people you'll ever meet. So this whole idea that every white person from the South is racist, that's wrong. Every white Republican is racist, that's not true. Sometimes they just want to be left alone. But you got some crazy ones out here. You got those extremists out here. And I said, I need you to get out of town and be safe. Don't you worry. Don't you give a damn about what people say about your kid. This is your life on the line. This is your life. So I told her to get out of town. Because I said, look, the police are clearly corrupt. The local Walmart would not reveal the videotape that we know exonerates you. These people, if you stay in that town too long, they might come get you. So she left. And I remember her calling me the next day. And we talked the next morning for hours. And it was a wonderful conversation. I don't know how she's doing, but I hope that she's doing well. Her name was Heather Ellis. And Heather, if you see this video, text me or email me or something because I want to know how things turned out for you. She was a wonderful young lady. Anyway, with that being said, my point is that politics is a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of crap. It's a rigged, loaded game. Lies are being told everywhere, and the reason they tell so many lies is because they know that people are going to believe them. They tell so many lies because people are not critical thinkers. They tell so many lies because those of you, in fact, let me ask you, how many of you consider yourself to be a critical thinker? How many of you consider yourself to be somebody who doesn't have to follow the crowd? Give me a yes in the chat if you are a person who likes to think for yourself, if you like to make your own decisions, if you have no problem not doing what everybody else is doing. You ain't trying to keep up with the Joneses and do what everybody else is doing. I want you to say yes in the chat because I need you to understand how rare you are. I need you to understand how rare you are. Studies show that 70% of all people will follow the crowd, even if the crowd is wrong. 70% of people will follow the crowd, even if the crowd is wrong. And when I saw that statistic, that made me say, okay, no wonder I get so much resistance. No wonder there's so many people who don't understand what we do. No wonder there's so many people who get pissed off just because we tell people to think for themselves. I've been a thinker for a long time. I was a thinker when I was 8. And I became a super thinker when I had a PhD. I became a triple super thinker when I became a professor. I got my PhD 20 years ago, and I was really smart when I finished my PhD. I'm not bragging. I'm just a fact, And so the fact that I would sit around and read books all day and think all day and process information all day and analyze high level calculations all day helped me understand that that in some ways, to some people, I might sound like a damn alien. And so either you believe me and trust me, and you can accept me, or I just scare the shit out of you, piss you off, and make you mad, and that's fine either way. So what I'm saying to you is, those of you that think for yourself, I can confirm to you that you're on the right track. I can tell you from where I'm looking at things that it ain't. A lot of things aren't what they seem. A lot of people might make fun of you and say, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, this, that, and the other." And the reason you're a conspiracy theorist is because there are conspiracies everywhere. You just may have the wrong idea. You may have the wrong conspiracy, right? Sometimes you may think that, like every Democrat is a child molester or something like that. But the problem is that there's some conspiracy in there, I'm sure, that isn't too disconnected from what you might think, right? It may not be that one, though. You may have the wrong conspiracy, but you're correct to know that there is a conspiracy, because I bet you, if I ask you, in fact, give me a yes or no in the chat, if you think that they are running schemes on you. Give me a yes if you think that there are people sitting in the room plotting and planning and scheming to control you. Give me a yes if you understand these things. It happens at all different levels. During the pandemic, that was a hell of a scheme. Look at this war in Ukraine. Who the hell told you that we're supposed to be cheering for the Ukrainians? I don't know. I couldn't find Ukraine on the map. I don't know about y'all. I'm not good at geography. I ain't gonna lie. Now I can. But back then, I didn't know where Ukraine was. I didn't care about Ukraine. Who the hell suddenly decides that all the media outlets are telling me I need to be cheering for Ukraine, and then cheering and happy because they wrote a $20 billion check to send weapons to a country I don't even think about? Like, really? But they came out of the gate saying we need everybody to cheer for the Ukrainians, and here's how we're going to do it. And we're going to use our control of media and social media in order to do that. Anybody who disagrees, we're going to call them a Russian bot. We're going to ban their Twitter account. We're going to ban their Instagram. That's why my Instagram got removed yesterday or 2, 3, 4 days ago, right? Because it's all they make plans. These people make plans. And the key thing is that if you're dealing with people that make plans against you, you have to make plans to resist that. You have to have a plan that's better than their plan. You have to they're intentional and they're clear about their plan. You must be intentional and clear about yours. If you follow the crowd and go for the okie doke and do what everybody else is doing, then you're going to end up where everybody else is at. And that's just the reality. Speaking of plans, Cornel West, I sat with him in New York in 2013 for 5 hours in a car because there was a lot of traffic, and we hung out and had lunch and walked around New York City. And let me tell you, Cornel West told me about a time where he really supported Barack. The problem that they had at the time was that when Obama was trying to get elected, they could not get black people to vote for him because black people were like, well, who's this corny guy? He's not Hillary Clinton. Black people, again, because we have these Democratic Party addictions, we were going to vote for Hillary no matter what. Vote blue no matter who. Hillary was our savior. That's where black people's minds were at that time. So he said we sat in a room and we strategized for hours. I think he said David Axelrod, one of Obama's advisors, Jesse Jackson Jr., and he mentioned some other people that were there. I don't remember everybody that was in this room, but it was really fascinating to hear how they sat in a room and said, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll frame him this way. We'll shape the message that way. I'll go and talk to these people, and then we'll get black people to get a critical mass of support, because we know that once the critical mass starts going along with it, then everybody else is going to sort of open the floodgates. They're just going to start all in mass doing it because people don't understand the depths by which we just follow the crowd. Right. So when they're lying to you, just like they're lying to you about this thing in the White House, people just go for it. They fall for it. And it's very frustrating for me because I'm sitting there saying, like, don't you see this? Don't you see what's going on? And there's so many people who can't see it. They're just, I don't know if their processing ability just is not there. But I want to say to you, those of you that have that ability to process, I want to encourage you and tell you don't be scared. Don't be afraid to be a critical thinker. In fact, people who are critical thinkers, who are able to think for themselves, tend to have better lives because you're able to shape your life the way you want it to be instead of letting somebody else shape it for you. You don't want to do that. Okay. Give me a yes if this makes sense. Give me a yes if I said something good. I want to feel like I did something good today because I didn't go to the gym like I was supposed to. So now I gotta go repent for not working out the way I was supposed. But I had to talk to you about this. So anyway, guys, before I head on out, don't forget my website is boycewatkins.com. I don't know if you guys know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but we do every Wednesday night, we do Powernomics training for those who want to be critical thinkers, who don't want to follow the crowd. We've been reading Powernomics every single Wednesday night for the last 2 years. And we read Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. His website is powernomics.com. Also, if you want to join our Wednesday book club, and it's a free training, we just get in there and we just go deep. You can go to blackkeystogreatness.com. I used to broadcast the weekly book club meetings live, but I'm going to stop doing that because I believe that's what got me banned on Instagram. And the reason I believe it got me banned is because there's a section in Dr. Anderson's book where he talks about immigrants and how immigration policy has harmed the Black community. And also we talked about affirmative action and that white women are the primary beneficiaries of affirmative action. Well, it turns out that Facebook and Instagram policy says that you're not allowed to single out any particular racial group, which is crazy because I single out being Black all the time. Like I talk about Black people, Black men, Black women, but for whatever reason, again, because this is another type of racism, this is white systematic racism in effect, where rather than taking time to understand the cultural nuance that talking about racism is not the same as being racist, they simply define any sort of reference to racism as hate speech. Right? That's what they do. They just define any reference to race on any level by anybody for any reason to be hate speech, because then they say that they do it because they're protecting you, but really they're not protecting you by censoring you. What they're effectively doing is they're trying to push it all into the past. We're going to do more and more of this. It's going to be across both parties. Liberals and conservatives are going to do more of this, especially when you start talking about reparations. They're going to all say, well, why should we pay for something we did not do? The past should be the past. Kumbaya, everybody should get along, and we should just get along in this society where white people have all the money and Black people don't have any of it. So anyway, if you want to join us, I'm going to start doing these in private Zooms. I cannot do the book club publicly anymore. Just go to blackkeystogreatness.com and you can join us for our free Powernomics training in the Black Business School. The URL is on the screen, blackkeystogreatness.com. You'll also get access to my life class, which is yours for life. You can have it forever. And that's just kind of our gift to you. And last but not least, we have financial workbooks for children. So if you'd like to go take a look at our financial workbooks that cover stock market investing, real estate, etc., you can go to financialworkbooks.com. We spent years putting these workbooks together. We cover every single grade band. We've helped thousands and thousands of kids. We'd love to help your kids because we want our children. Remember, Black excellence is not just a phrase. Black excellence isn't just a couple of words that you use just to make yourself feel good. Black excellence is a lifestyle. Black excellence is a way of thinking. Black excellence is a life philosophy. So we want to encourage you to pursue that excellence. The same way excellent basketball players train their kids to play basketball when they're little. They don't wait till they're grown. They train them when they're 5. Great football players train their kids to play football when they're 5 or 6 years old. I saw this new Netflix show called Quarterback where Kirk Cousins from the Minnesota Vikings had his 4-year-old kids catching footballs. Great dancers. The little girls don't start dancing when they're 20. They start dancing when they're 3. Well, the same thing is true for great wealth builders. If you want your kid to be a great wealth builder, then you train them when they're 3, not when they're 23. You get them ready when they're 5, not when they're 35. You get them ahead of the game. So we want to help you with that. We spent years putting this together with Black experts. If you want to take a look, go to financialworkbooks.com. That URL is on the screen also. All right, guys. So I'm about to get on out of here. You hear me over here choking. I need to go drink some water. So God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you all soon. Take care now. Peace.